Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Extra Time TV. This is Andres Sokta. As you can tell, I'm not alone. I'm here at the Raw Fitness Center in Gasparilla, and I'm joined by a former national player, Anthony Rougier. How are you today?
I'm well. Good evening to everybody.
All right, so recent qualifiers took place. We played the US, we played Costa Rica. We did not win, but the most recent game against Costa Rica took place.
Right.
We unfortunately fell 2-1 to Costa Rica.
Right.
But looking at the game, there were a lot of positives, a lot of things that surprised a lot of people.
Right.
What do you think of the game itself in terms of Dennis Lawrence and how he's done so far?
I think first of all, I want to say, we have to give the time for Dennis to do the things that he want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes, from a perspective of Dennis, we have to understand that you are the head coach of the national team, and you will come into criticisms. It comes with the territory.
Yep.
I think we saw a dynamic. Something happened yesterday with Kenwyne Jones being injured and having to make a change. So it means that the design or the DNA of how the team wanted to play was a specific way just minutes before the game started.
Yeah.
A change had to be made with Kenwyne Jones and bringing in the young man up front. And his style of play is totally different from Kenwyne Jones. And a lot of people now are criticizing that the team plays better without Kenwyne, or I even listened to the commentary of Terry Fennick talking about we are now playing to the strengths of the young men on the team. For me, really, we have to understand the strength of the players that we have, and I think Dennis is getting closer to understanding that. I know we have to remember Dennis came in during the Hex. And I think he's understanding his players. Remember, a coach only gets 5 days. He has the opportunity because of our league being ended. Mm-hmm. He's getting a lot of time to spend with the players. Mm-hmm. And I think with that change yesterday, he saw something different. But I think we should really learn to understand the way Kenwyne plays. Kenwyne is our best striker without question. He's our most established player. He brings something that similar to John Michael brings at the other end, that calmness and that response, someone that the players under the extreme circumstances that they can talk to, and he could bring that calmness and calm down the anxiety of the team. We have to understand that, and we have to allow Kenwyne to play in the way that he plays. If it's one criticism I will give Dennis, is that he shouldn't change playing into Kenwyne's strength. I know he wants to play a passing game. It is the way he's learned his coaching philosophies. But we have to play into Kenwyne's strengths, and I think we'll get the best out of it. We have really quick players both on left and right side, and Boswin showing his quickness that put the Costa Rican defense under a lot of pressure last night. I also want to mention another thing. We have to remember the altitude situation that we dealt with in Colorado. Mm-hmm. When you spend that much time there, and then you're coming back into normal atmosphere, you could have seen it yesterday, and we can't take that for granted, because it allows us to be sharper. It allows us to be fitter, and that played a big difference last night. I hope that we had that strategy in place, and that was part of the plan. But all in all, I think it's promising. We have to remember, we have 4 more games left. That's something like 12 points. Mm-hmm. We have a chance though. Mm-hmm. So we have to always remember to keep our mind on the prize. We have some home games coming up. We have to prepare properly, and we have to give the team the chance to really make it happen. I mean, there was no doom and gloom. I remember I was part of the World Cup team that qualified for the World Cup. Mm-hmm. By this time, I don't think we had any points. So it's possible. Let's give the team the chance that it needs. Let's give Dennis the opportunity to make the changes, and hope that by the grace of God we get it right.
And you actually read my mind with the next question. Because, a lot of people are speaking about the Kenwyne Jones thing. There's the immediate objectives, which is to qualify. Right. And then there's the long-term objectives. Fans have the luxury of sitting down and saying, okay, let's go with the young players. Right. But Dennis also has to make a decision, I have to get results right now. And I need to pick the team that works best right now. Right. While also thinking ahead, which I spoke to him, and that's exactly what he's doing. But with that being said, from a player's perspective, you have been there. In fact, you have been a part of one of the most successful campaigns in our history.
Right.
Let's be honest about that. If you didn't know that, you know that now. From a player's perspective, you're in this position, you're in the dressing room. What do you think psychologically is needed for the players to say, all right, guys, we're going to turn this around and get some results?
I think this is the main thing, and this is the part that people don't understand as well. This is the other factor that a player like Kenwyne Jones brings. Somebody like Dennis Lawrence, somebody like Sol Campbell, somebody like the Stern John of this world. They've been there, they've done that. The young men of the team now, they will be disappointed with the results. It's very important to see how after losing to the US, you would have thought that they would have seen morals demoralized, but you didn't see that in the game at all. As a matter of fact, you saw the players expressing themselves even more. But they would need people to talk to, people who they can trust. We don't have that much experience in the team besides the likes of the Kenwyne Jones. So I think right now, that is what will be needed. I think that is what the young players will be looking for. And when I say young players, there are players who are over 20, over 25, but they're young and experienced in the international football. And international football is a totally different monster to deal with. I think they have to spend a lot of time together. Dennis has to get the psychology side of his experience now into play, and get these players motivated, understanding from a mathematical point of view. At the end of the day, it's not just about winning games, which is what we play football for, but it's about when you can pick up the points and being realistic in what needs to be done. And I think if we get that mind back, focus on that, I think we have a greater chance of making it forward.
Yep, a lot of people, there's the overall perspective, and then there were a lot of exciting things to look at in this game. The game was unexpectedly even. A lot of people, for those who have been following Dennis Lawrence, they may have been too surprised. But there were players like Nathan Lewis, Botswain, and a lot of the younger players impressed a lot of people. And I think it's a testament to Dennis Lawrence slowly, gradually implementing him into the team. As you said, use the right word just now, inexperience. A lot of these guys don't have that international experience. A lot of people have been hit or miss about the inclusion of Carlos Edwards. They were saying, why do we have this guy here? And this builds on what you were saying just now. A lot of people are saying, well, why do we have Edwards and why do we have Kenwyne? And, they don't, well, Jan is a mainstay in the team. Just to build on your point, do you think Carlos Edwards is there primarily because of his experience being a campaigner before?
I think also we have to remember Dennis is also a young coach as well. And it's very important that Dennis has people around him that he believes that he can trust in. We talk about the lack of experience on the team. We have the likes of Carlos Edwards, who I forgot to mention earlier on, that in certain situations, certain circumstances, you're asking in international football for a specific thing to be done tactically, technically. And it's a lot of times you need somebody with that experience to give that chance or to carry out that instruction or to perform this particular task. Not much of the players can do that just yet because, again, Dennis it's his first coaching stint at that level. So I think he has people like Carlos in there to bring that for him. And let's be honest, I am sure with the heart rate monitors that they brought in, if you check the fitness level of Carlos Edwards, even at his age, I think he would be as strong as the other players. Carlos Edwards is a fitness freak, and he can do it over and over again. But at the end of the day, we have to trust Dennis. Sitting at the side, sitting on our couches, it's very, very easy to make decisions and say this and say that. Carlos Edwards and Dennis play together, they are friends, but we have to put the bigger picture at hand. We have to trust Dennis because we did trust him after the Panama game when we won. We have to trust him, we have to continue trusting him. We have to remember that he has the mantle of taking this team forward. He spent more time with the players in the dressing room and out of the dressing room than we have. So he would know who can and who cannot, when and when not. And we have to give him that chance. And we have to trust him to make those decisions. And I think he's best suited in position to make it.
I'm reading a lot of forums, it seems as if a lot is expected from Dennis.
Right.
And credit to Dennis, I think he's handling it really well.
Right.
I was impressed from a few interactions we had, seeing his attempts, what he wants to do in the short term
Right.
and the long term. He has very specific plans. And just to build on what you said, he is very calculated in his decisions. He doesn't just pick by guess. He's
Right.
trying to add a methodology to his selection process.
Right.
He has a way he wants to do things, and he has a way he wants to do things in future, how he wants it to be. So his selections are hardly from, as you were saying, from
Right.
any sort of friendship, whatever. So that's what I admire about Dennis.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could sit and talk about this for like hours,
Yeah.
because that's what we love to do on Extra Time TV.
Right.
So with that being said, we are still rooted at the bottom of the table. We still have a mathematical chance of qualifying.
Absolutely.
From an analytical perspective, we spoke about all the things we need to do.
Right.
So your conclusion is that we could still make it.
Absolutely. And if we're looking at scientifically, we have qualified through the fourth place spotters before. So let's say that we know how to do it. And especially Dennis and Stern being involved. No, I think we have to look at it from that perspective. We have to be realistic that until we break the barrier, and I am a strong believer in Trinidad and Tobago needs to start dominating games. We need to start dominating the Caribbean. We need to start looking or thinking from a perspective of winning the Gold Cup. Dennis has to select players who he thinks he can get the best out of for this game in this situation. So it's a tough one for him. It's going to be a tough order in the next game. The 2-2 result with Honduras and Panama plays well for us.
Yes, it does.
And I think it keeps us in the runnings for the thing as well. I don't think we need 12 points to qualify. So it doesn't mean that we need to win every game. I still do believe the teams in this group, points will be dropped between Mexico, US, Costa Rica, and Honduras and Panama. These teams are pretty much even, and the points will be dropped, and we have to just focus on what we need to do and what our strengths are to maximize and get any points that we need to qualify. Let's keep believing.
Don't stop believing.
In the World Cup campaign, and let's support the team in the best way we can, and let's help them. Let us be the 12th man taking the team over the line. Let's go, Trinidad.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And just to let you all know that we are once again at the Raw Fitness Center in Gasparilla. A wonderful place. Come and check it out. We have our shot power challenge down here. Maybe Rougier will take it up. The highest so far is Jan, which I think is 117 kilometers per hour. So maybe Rougier might be the guy to break that trend.
There we go.
Yes. So you heard it from the man himself. This is Andrew Suklal of Extra Time TV. And this wonderful episode has been brought to you by the kind folks of Maisto.
Okay guys, so that wraps things up of this episode of Extra Time TV. Be sure to tune in next time and like and subscribe. Check us out below.